So we are living, as it were, on many, many levels of rhythm. This is the nature of change. If you resist it, you have dukkha, you have frustration and suffering. But on the other hand, if you understand change, you don't cling to it, and you let it flow, then it's no problem. It becomes positively beautiful.
Just welcome, everybody, to episode 36 of the Games Talk Live podcast. I am here, of course, with none other than Zalker87, my brother from RDX. It's good to have you.
It's good to have you. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming in. I know we've been doing this, we've been trying to do this since last September, trying to get together to finally do this thing, and then we've just always been busy and family, and so I'm glad we could do it this week because I think you and me are going to connect with this game that we've been playing, and I think it's the perfect week.
It really is. It really is. I don't think it could have gone any better because, we're going to get into why. But yeah, I want to welcome everybody to the show. Thanks for showing up, those of you that are here. For some reason, Zalker, my lives, I don't know why they do this, but they don't show up on my channel right away. And after they're done, it says still processing for like 15 to 20 hours. So
I was trying to look for it.
Yeah, I've hit up YouTube and they don't do anything for me. They say, sometimes it could take that long. No, it shouldn't take that long. RDX is immediate. After we're done, it's there. We've got a few people watching us right now. I see a few people in there. Nobody's hit up the comments yet, but there's a couple of likes there. Anyways, Zalker, let everybody know. First off, I have to ask, because we've been doing this thing together with RDX for years now, and I've never asked you, how did the name Zalker87 come about?
So, as you know, the addiction that can be World of Warcraft. I was in high school when that game came out, and I was playing with different classes, and then I fell on the rogue class, and I was like, man, I really, really like the rogue class because I would sneak up on people, kill them. Like I was in a world PvP. And so then in high school, I remember I was in auto shop class or whatever. And I'm just sitting there having a good time. And I'm thinking like, what should I name my rogue? Like, I was like, I want to re-roll, get a different name. And I was thinking like, they stalk people. We're stalkers. I was like, we stalk them and then kill them. So I was like, Zalker. And I put like a Z in front of it. And I thought I was the coolest little badass kid that was like, 14, 15, killing people. So, I played on Gorgonash was that server name. And I made a name for myself. Like Horde hated me because Zalker would come get you. Like every time if I was doing anything, if there was another like Horde running by, I'd stop what I was doing completely and go kill them. Like that was my whole goal in that game, was just to grieve people.
Somebody's saying that this show is unlisted. Is it? I don't have it set for unlisted. So if this is true, this is due to some kind of weird glitch here. But I'm going to check that out and make sure that it's public, because that would be very bad. So hold on. Technical difficulties. I'm going to check this out real quick. Why would it be under unlisted?
Oh, it does say unlisted. It has a little link right there under it.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Gaz told you to check WhatsApp, so he might have a solution for you.
Yeah. All right. It should be going public now. So I went into the settings on YouTube and it was unlisted. That is why there was nobody in here.
Yeah, I was like, man, because I couldn't find it either. I was like, I don't think people could see this, man. I had to go to like the link that we had together, and I was like, oh, I'm the only one here.
They just don't like us anymore. They don't want to see me. They don't want to see you. We're just trash. No, but Zalker, I know that you're not as old as I am, but you are an older gentleman.
I am.
How long have you been doing this gaming thing? Go back to being baby Zalker for a moment and tell me when this all started for you, buddy. Like, when did you start gaming? Like, what age, what console?
Oh, man, since I could hold a controller, I think 3-4 years old, and I haven't stopped. I started with the NES and then Super Nintendo, and I had all those systems, N64.
Whoa. You didn't start with the PC?
No, actually, I started with the funny thing is after the N64 came out, whatever year StarCraft came out on the N64, me and my best buddy, my buddy Peter, me and him, he lived 4 houses down from me. So we would go play like Blitz on N64 together in the mornings before school because we were like 3 blocks away from school. So we would play Blitz, and then finally we saw StarCraft, and I saw an advertisement for it, and I was like super excited, and I was like, man, look at this. It's like you can get armies and be kind of cool. And so then I played it there, and then my sister had a guy that she was dating. His name was Jesse. He was a PC gamer, and he's like, "Oh, you're playing StarCraft on like the console? That's kind of weird." I was like, "Where else?" And in my head, I'm like, "Where else would you play it, bro?" And he's like, "A PC, a computer," and we didn't have one in the house because we weren't the richest people in the world. And so I was like, "Oh, whatever, like, sure." And then we hung out at his house, me and my buddy, and we saw him play it on the PC, and it looked insane, right? Like way more graphic fidelity, way more units on site. You could do so much more. And not to mention you can have more units. Yeah. So then that's when we went to PC. Like I played for specifically StarCraft. I played the whole campaign, I think like 4 times. Because back then you had money for one game and you played the hell out of it.
Yes. Tell me about it, bro. Your parents would be like, not another game. You'd have to wait like 6 months at times before you get a game, right?
Yeah, longer, because I would go bust tables at our restaurant and save up tips from little old ladies. Then I'd be like, "Ooh, I have $35. We're about to go shopping, boys." Yeah. And so and then they jacked it up to 60, and my soul crushed. But no, that's what it was. We would play on N64, Super Smash Brothers on the N64 again, and then I went to Xbox and PC primarily. And the only reason I bought a PlayStation at the time was for God of War, because I thought God of War was one of the best looking things I've ever seen. And so played that on there. It was amazing. And so from there, it's just been Xbox and PC primarily. And I've always had the two together. I always played on the original Xbox. I always played on the 360 and just haven't stopped. Like, I'm not one of those people that just got into gaming. I've been playing games my whole life. And I just recently, just like you, Fonz, the last couple years, I've been lucky enough to like talk about it with people and find somebody that has, find a community that has that same passion as we do. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. Like, me and my buddies always played together, but I would always get into it a little bit more, talking about the business side or what's coming, getting excited for games, watch E3, all this stuff, What's up, Moby? There's a bunch of people in here now, man. Now that it's not unlisted, there you go.
Yeah. See, that's, you know what? I'm still getting used to this new program, but you know what? I'm going to get better with it. Mo B with the super chat. Thank you very much, Mo. He says, the big homie Fonz and Zalker87, let's go. Everybody get hyped. Show some love to GTL. Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, hit that like button if you like the show today. We're here with Zalker87, of course, from RDX, my brother over there. And also, content creator, YouTube, buddy. Talk about your channel, man. Like, what are you up to now? How many subs, man?
I actually just hit 45,000 last night.
Nice.
In the middle of playing. Actually, I was playing Sea of Thieves last night. So, full disclosure, me and my buddies played Sea of Thieves Friday night and got absolutely annihilated. I mean, we sunk 4 times. We got, like, that doesn't happen. We don't get sunk, but we played some guys that were really good and really good sportsmanship. They were like, "Hey, GG's." Like, after they killed us, they're like, "Good job, good fight. You guys are decent." And we were just so pissed off because they sunk us twice, and then another whole other group sunk us, and we were like, we're just having an off night. So last night I was playing Elden Ring, and we all group texted each other. We're like, we need to play,
bro.
Like, we can't end it like that.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting here laughing because Hargeet, I am so sorry. Hargeet Shunny, I don't know if you guys know him in the community. Me and Zalker do.
Hargeet's hella cool.
I was talking to him last night in a party chat, and he goes, "Hey man," he says, "I got to bring something up to you." And I go, "What?" He said, "In your ticker, you have scrolling all the people that support you, right?" And I'm like, yeah. He goes, "Yeah, I'm in there, right?" "Yeah, you're in there." Autocorrect corrected his name, and it says Harriet Chain. So here's the thing. I tell him, "Oh, I fixed it. Don't worry about it." It still says Harriet Chain. I'm sorry. Hargeet, I apologize. I will have that fixed today. I'm so sorry. Shout
out to Harriet.
Shout out to Harriet Chain. Thank you very much for being a loyal sub here on my channel. I appreciate you so much, man. But
that's the next rap name, bro.
Harriet Chain. Yeah, Harriet 2 Chain. Yeah, there you go. Yep. But no, it's great to just hear a little bit about your backstory and stuff, man. I like to do that. Yeah. But there's something else I like to do here, Zalker, and that, of course, is 5 questions.
I'm gonna fail at this so bad.
5 questions. Yeah,
your stupid face, bro.
You know, hey. You know, it's not perfect, but you know what? Here, let me throw something.
Dude, that's legit.
All right. Anyways, look, as host of the show here, I do this 5 questions. You've seen the show before. 4 trivia, 1 subjective question. Zalker, are you ready to play 5 questions?
Let's do it. I'm gonna get every single one of them wrong.
All right, let's go. Some music. Can you name the top-selling video game of last year, 2021?
Call of Duty Vanguard, wasn't it?
Correct, sir.
I mean, that's...
And how is Call of Duty, the worst Call of Duty ever, still the best-selling game?
I don't even know, man. Like, because I thought about it, because I have it, too, and I played it, and I was like, I feel like a lot of people are playing this.
Yeah.
Still.
Yep. Name the 2 protagonists you can choose from in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This is tailored to you here. Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, isn't it Cassandra and Alexios?
Correct. These are too easy.
I mean, these are pretty good, though.
All right. Of the 7 StarCraft titles in the series, 6 are exclusive to PC and Mac, but there is 1 that went to console. Can you name that console?
N64.
Correct, sir.
Yep.
And what was that called, that game, for a bonus point?
StarCraft Brood War.
It's called StarCraft 64 is what people called it. Anyway,
if you got the Shark card, you got Brood War, and so they had it like StarCraft Brood War. So I got the Shark card. If you didn't get that, you just had StarCraft. And they called it. They changed it. But if you had the Shark card, you got StarCraft Brood War, which is the expansion with the lurkers.
Yeah. Well, hey, that was a bonus question, and you got it.
Yeah.
These are too easy for you, man. I knew. You know what? I thought maybe I can get him with the StarCraft question. No. Can you name this popular video game character that is well known for his ability to inhale objects and creatures to gain their powers? Inhale objects and creatures to gain their powers.
Fucking Kirby?
Correct, sir.
Dude, I was like, is he talking Smash Bros? Like,
guys, he got all those 4 questions right. But here is where you can mess it all up, because as host, I have the power to say you are wrong or right with a subjective question. And that subjective question is favorite gaming experience of all time.
Oh, fuck.
Could be a game, or it could be an experience, surrounding a game, or a time when you played with friends, whatever.
So one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time was me and my buddy Eric, who is in Washington. His best friend Matt. We created a clan called the Exiles for professional Call of Duty gaming, and we got to Cal I back in the day. There's this thing called Cal, and in Cal there's Cal I is one, and then Cal M is below it. We were in Cal Main, and in the playoffs, we beat one of the best players in the world in his team. And we went into overtime and beat them, and we like celebrated like crazy. Then we got invited to Cal I with like Cyber Globe and Pandemic. This is when I was like 14, 15. And that was one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had because we were ultra competitive. We won and we beat a good team. And, you know, to this day, I still talk to him. We played WoW competitively in Arena, Eric, my buddy Eric. And I, you know, one of my best friends I've met and still talk to, dude's getting married. And so that was one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time because Call of Duty was really fun. And it was the first one that was World War II. And we were ultra competitive and we won. And then we got invited to like the upper echelon. And they didn't know I was 15 years old. And sponsors like NVIDIA were reaching out to me to like sponsor me. But they were like, wait, you're 15? And they like, you know, I had to turn every single one of them down because my parents are from Greece, like the village. And they were like, what the hell you mean you're going to play games and get like, nah, it's not happening. You know, you got to go to school. And then I went to school and became an engineer instead. But that was one of my favorite gaming experiences ever.
You know what? I hate that answer.
I hate you.
You know what? I hate that answer because it has to do with Call of Duty. So you get the buzzer. All right? You get the buzzer. Call of Duty's trash. It's always been trash, and it'll continue to be trash. No, I'm just kidding. No, that was a good answer, man. That was a good answer. Yeah. The little buzzer. People love that. And anyways, Zalker, let's get into some topics here. And of course, this week, you know, let's get into some Jeff Grubb rumors. All right. So there is Jeff Grubb's making the news as he usually does lately. And there's a rumor surrounding a possibility of Fallout New Vegas, a sequel to Fallout New Vegas. This, of course, by Obsidian. And he says there's a lot of talk going on surrounding this, Zalker. Have you played Fallout New Vegas?
Funny thing, Fallout New Vegas is the only Fallout I've beaten because I like it.
In my opinion, you played the best one.
It is the best one. By far.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it is the best by far. But anyways, so he's got some. So Jeff Grubb here. You know, if you guys don't know who Jeff Grubb is, that's him on the screen. And this is, of course, Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas 2, if they do make a Fallout New Vegas 2, I am really excited about this because it's my favorite Fallout by far, and it was so fun. I even went back to it and dabbled with it. Did you go back when they FPS boosted it and stuff? Did you try it?
No.
You got it on PC anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Actually, I did get it for PC because my 360 at the time got the red ring of death for the second time. And I was so pissed. And then my buddy just gave me his copy, like the CD key and everything of Fallout New Vegas. He's like, you need to play this. So he just gave me the game and I played it on PC and actually really enjoyed it. I didn't like 3. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people
like 3. I like 3.
But
no, New Vegas had a lot of choices. There was a lot of choice and a lot of risk reward. I really liked that about the game. He says this is very early, but people have begun to have talks and say these words in sentences, and those words are Obsidian and New Vegas 2. We're talking years and years away. There's at least an interesting conversation happening about making something like that an actual reality. Grubb added, a lot of people at Microsoft think that this could work, and there's a lot of interest for it to make it happen. Of course, there's a lot of interest, man. It's Fallout New Vegas, and if they do make a part 2, I know loads of people that are excited for that. Colt Eastwood is another one, you know, that loves the game.
Yeah.
So
I think it's kind of like a perfect fit. Like, do you remember when they bought them? We were like, the first thing people started asking around the industry was like, "Yo, put like Obsidian on another Fallout New Vegas."
Yep.
And I think if you remember, I put this in my video, what Todd Howard said about how it's taking 10 to 15 years to get an Elder Scrolls game out, because they worked on Fallout. Like, if you do the math, it'll take them this long to get another Fallout out. I think that them letting go of an IP, kind of being like, you know what, we've done enough Fallouts. We've done 4 of them, 5 of them, whatever the hell. Give it to someone else. Here's the IP. An internal person like Obsidian can bring out a Fallout game, and we also get new IPs plus another Elder Scrolls from them. That's what I think is like the best situation, especially with Obsidian, man. Obsidian just makes quality games no matter what. And they're working on a lot. Like, they're bringing out Avowed. They're bringing out the Outer Worlds 2. They got Grounded. Another small team's working on something else that's been rumored. And now the rumored of Fallout. I wouldn't be surprised if they go up to like 300 to 350 people at that studio making, you know, a game every 2 to 3 years.
Oh, we've said it before on RDX. A lot matter of fact that this is Obsidian is basically their Insomniac at Microsoft, because Insomniac creates a lot of games pretty quickly. And I'd say that it's kind of the same thing here with Obsidian. And Obsidian makes quality games. I don't want to hear from the fanboys saying, "Oh, they're not as good as Insomniac." No, they do make quality games. If you've played Obsidian RPGs, they're amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I would say there's two other studios that are kind of like their Insomniac. I would say the Coalition. They brought out Gears 4, 5, and then Gears Tactics in the same generation. They brought out 3 big games, and I know people don't like Tactics, but those 3 games were pretty quality. And then I would say,
but where they're different though, where they're different is the fact that they just create Gears games.
Yeah.
That's
well, when you look at it, Insomniac only created Spider-Man.
Yeah. Right? Well, no, they've created other games too. You've got Sunset Overdrive. You've got.
Well, I'm talking about just for Sony, like just like they're just created. Like that's what I'm saying is that like they're bringing out all these games, but for me, and then Playground Games brought out a bunch of Forzas, and now they're working on Fable. So we're going to be getting Forza and Fable, and they're high-rated Forza games. Like these ain't no joke. So yeah, I think Obsidian can join that upper echelon, but they would have to release Avowed next year if they want to do that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. We got a couple of super chats I'm going to get through here. Danny Passion Official says, what does he say? Let's go. That's what he says. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. I'm glad to have Zalker here today because, again, we're going to have a blast talking about something here. Drawn TJ, he says, hi, Fonz. Hi, Zalker. Hello to you, sir.
Hello, TJ.
Hello.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, lots of great people in the chat. Got Astry Gaming, Blue Moon FC, Gone Mad. I was in a party with Gone Mad just last night. Toolman55, Boba Fett Gaming. He was in the party chat as well. Clay Mudd, Flash Gordon. Gaz, happy birthday to Gaz. Everybody send your love and happy birthday wishes to Gaz.
135 years old. Good guy.
Cerebral Paul's a good guy too. Space Dovakin. I don't know how to say his name. I apologize, but thank you for being here. So let's get into the other rumor that Jeff Grubb has been talking about, and that, of course, is Spartacus. It's a rumor about Spartacus and their pricing structure. Zalker, if this is true, first I'm going to read this. First tier on the plan is called Essential. It will supposedly run players $10, offers up a small selection of games each month, not unlike PlayStation Plus in its current state. Okay, $10, that's what PlayStation Plus would be, is, I guess. The extra tier starts at $13, and it comes with all the essential plan that you get with the $10, but access to larger catalog of PlayStation titles, similar to PlayStation Now. Okay, so a lot of older titles, I guess.
Yeah.
Lastly, the premium tier is both of those tiers plus a library of classic games. And here's the big one, new game trials. So basically game demos. You get to try the games out before you buy them, kind of like EA Play. Zalker, what are you feeling on this, man? $16 a month for the premium.
The premium one just doesn't even do anything. It's like, all right, you get some demos. Like EA Play is almost $5 a month, and you get the same thing. And then not to mention these games come in there, and it's like, so $16 a month, you're getting demos, and then they're putting classic library, aka back compat, behind a paywall of $16 a month. And then you look at the $10 one, like, sorry, we have to compare it because that's what this is. Game Pass at $10 on console, you get day and date, and then all these big games, not demos. You get them there. Boom. That's it. And then that's for PC and console, like, right? Like if you can pay $10 on PC, get it there, or just $10 on console. But for $15, which again is still cheaper, you can get it on both, which you're getting basically 2 games for 2 different systems, and cloud, and back compat's free, and you get free upgrades to your games if you own a next-gen console. Like, this is the dumb. If this leak is true, which I hope it's not, I know it's all speculative, and this is like, again, leaks, so we got to kind of, hold on. If it's true, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and they're not trying to compete with Game Pass.
Yeah. And maybe this is why they keep saying they're not trying to compete with Game Pass, even though they just got a multiplat in there, a Shadow Warrior 3, and PS Now. And that looks like it's heading towards Game Pass, but then you find out it's only the PS4 version, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, that's kind of odd. But I don't know what they're doing here with this service. But to me, it's far too expensive for what you get. I don't care to go back and play like PS1, PS2 games. I know there's people out there that will, but I don't care to. And when it comes to game demos, that I don't want to pay for them. I want to play games early and try them on a demo or a trial, as they call it. But I don't want to pay for that. Like that's not.
No, I don't want to pay for demos. Like at this point, like if you look at it, like demos, like to me at least,
we used to get them for free in magazines, bro.
I remember we used to get the like little disc, put them in, and like, oh, let me check it out. But like, it's like now, like to me, demos are dead. Like Game Pass has killed that. Like, why not just try the whole game? And if you like it and get sucked into it, you're done. Like that's it. So now it's like, oh, we get to play it for like an hour or two, and then what? And then like, oh, but we don't know if it's what version it is. Like, so that's what I want to know. What version am I getting if I have a PS5 and I pay $16? What version am I getting? Like, am I getting the PS4 version? So what the hell's the point of having a PS5 then? Like, what the fuck am I doing here? So that I don't know. Anybody defending this or anything like that, they're not to me, they just don't care about the consumer. They don't care about what the gamer actually wants. It's things have changed the last 2-3 years with Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I want stuff like that. Like to the point where, Steam even wants Game Pass on there.
Yeah.
Like they're open to it. Like, it's like, that's how big Game Pass is. People don't understand that. And that now seeing this dumb pricing of like, what are you doing, Sony? Like, I feel like every turn, $70 price hike, games not being compatible, or hiding PS5 versions of like Horizon, doing all this stuff that's like really scummy, man.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with some guys in the party chat the other night. We were talking about the differences between Jim Ryan and what's his face that was in there with a tiny coat. What was his name?
Shawn Layton?
Shawn Layton. Yeah. I was. Yeah. Shawn Layton. There was big differences between the two. Both still had some scummy practices here and there, as most, executives do. But it's, they're business minded. I get it. But you could tell like one was more gamer centric while the other one's more business minded. Way more business minded.
That's a perfect way of putting it. Now, I would say that Shawn Layton was very cutthroat. I would say he was gamer centric in a way that he thought, hey, if this is a cool idea and we have faith in this developer to make it, he'll do it and fund it until they make it. Like Insomniac was one of them that said, hey, we need more time. He gave them multiple millions of dollars and trusted them because he saw the results and was like, cool. That's where he was good at. He was good at looking at what the developers were making and then making the choice of like, let's give them more time because this is going to be huge, or we're not going to, like a game, call it like, I know people like it. Some of people like it is Order 1886. That game needed more money, but he saw what it was and it was kind of like, not going to happen. Right. So that's what I think he's good at, but he's not good at giving gamers like different choices. Like Jim Ryan right now is at least giving choices, but at the same time, it's like he's almost handicapped and like his legs cut off because he's like, oh, I can do this and this, but it's just not as good as the competitor because we don't want it to do that. Like, I don't know, man. It's weird.
And there's changes going on within the company. You could see that PlayStation is changing in ways that we never really thought they would up until a few years ago when we started saying, they're going to start emulating what Microsoft is doing with Game Pass. They're going to start emulating what Microsoft is doing with games to PC. We were all speculating this stuff, but honestly, years ago, they did not want to do any of this stuff. They said they weren't going to do any of this stuff. I mean, we've even had Jim Ryan said he believes in generations and then does a 180 on it.
No, and then the thing is like, I don't want to... Some people are going to be like, oh, like I see someone in here, portable players, say he's just happy that PlayStation gamers are going to PC master race guy. Like, no, I just don't care to play with that controller on that system. I just don't care. And even like Horizon Zero Dawn, I am playing it on PC because I want to play with my Xbox controller. Like, that's just me. That's my preference. That's what I enjoy. And I have a PS5 and it doesn't matter. I've beaten or played at least, didn't beat Returnal. I've beaten every single PS5 game that's come out on there, minus Deathloop, because I'd rather play it on my Xbox because it's an Xbox made game and I want achievements for it. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
that's
not a
all it
PC.
is.
I'm not a PC gamer at all, but I'm
No.
glad that they're going to PC so, PC guys can play. Like it's a totally different platform to me. Like it's so removed from console in my opinion to where I don't see them as being the same type of gamers really. So it doesn't bother me if Xbox games go over there or Sony games go over there because all I care about is the console space. That's all I really care about. Now, if they started swapping games amongst each other and saying, okay, you get my exclusives, Xbox, and I'll get yours, that's when it becomes weird to me. I don't know. That's
kind of like what's going on, like bringing strategy games over to console. Like they're bringing like Age of Empire. Strategy games have been, predominantly dominated on PC. They just sold really well there. But they're starting to like Gears Tactics runs well on the Series X. They're bringing some strategy games over that run pretty decent, and I've played them on there. It's great.
Yeah.
But I like the openness. Like if I want to play, like right now we're playing Elden Ring. I'm playing it on the Series X and it runs great. Like I know a lot of people have performance issues. We'll talk about it in a minute.
We'll talk about it.
It's just have fun and play games, man. Who cares?
Yeah, but anyways, just to recap, Spartacus seems like it's going to be an expensive, a whole lot of nothing going on there. If you want to play old games and want to play some demos, then yeah, it's great for you for $16 a month. But to me, it just doesn't entice me. They need to do a lot more than that to get me to subscribe to that service. They just do.
They need to provide what the competition is.
And before we move on from the whole Jeff Grubb rumor news, I want to give this shout out to Space. Is it Dovahkiin? I'm not sure, but he says the Fallout IP can be easily shared between Obsidian and In Exile. Some of the OG devs of Fallout are on In Exile. He's right. In Exile makes some great games as well. So
yeah, didn't they create the Fallout IP?
I don't remember.
It was In Exile.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna make sure.
But no, thank you for that, Space. That name just eludes me. Shout out to Lethal Papa, keeping everybody on track.
Lethal.
In the, he's the big boss mod here as well. Got him on RDX. Had to bring him over here too. He hit me up one day. He goes, "Where's my wrench?" I go, "Oh yeah, forgot to give him a wrench." But anyway, he's here holding it down. Thank you very much, Papa. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into the bread and butter of this show today. Elden Ring. Elden Ring is getting phenomenal scores. Okay. I believe the Metacritic score right now is a 97 overall, which is amazing. But before we get into that, I want to talk about why I loathe Metacritic. My hatred for Metacritic. I hate it because, number one, it influences a lot of people's buying decision. And I know some people might say, "Hey, that's not a bad thing," but just hear me out. Okay, we're gonna dive into this a bit. And even it also it affects developers' wallets as well. If a game has high enough score, it reaches a certain threshold, some developers will get a bonus. Many casuals, even some hardcore gamers, look to overall scores. Fanboys use it as ammunition in this console war. The 5-point scaling system, in my opinion, does not lend well to a 10-point scaling system, let alone a 100-point scaling system. Just doesn't, in my opinion. So here's the biggest thing, though. We have many journalists over the years admitting, Zalker, that they don't finish the games that they review.
Yeah.
They admit this. And one of those guys right now, I'm going to put up here real quick.
Oh, you messy today, bro.
Mike Rose. Now, I met Mike. He seemed like a nice guy on Go Live one time. Probably doesn't remember me, but I remember him. He's a developer, a publisher, I believe, right? Small. They did which game was that again, Zalker?
Descenders.
Descenders.
Yeah.
He says this on Twitter: "You don't need to finish a game to review it, and your editors shouldn't be asking you to do that, especially when it would destroy you to do so. In my 8 years of reviewing video games, I probably finished around 10% of them, and my opinions were rarely out of line with others."
That has nothing to do with anything.
Okay. And he goes on. if you're playing 80 plus hours of a game for a review, I hope A, you're being given ample time to get through it, and B, you're being paid thousands, because otherwise you should not be fucking doing it. Excuse my French, but if you're ever given a No More Robots game to review, please don't spend any more time than 8 hours doing so. After 8 hours, you give the general gist, go write a review, then have a nice relaxing bath and tell your editor you were playing the game the entire time.
The fuck?
What? Your thoughts on that, man?
So
this is somebody who's reviewed games for 8 years.
Number one, beaten. The 10% thing is dumb, right? Like, I hate that. Like, there's no way. What kind of games are you playing? Are you playing like Skyrim games every time you review something? No. I feel like if it's, a certain amount of hours, play the game as much as you can, do as much side stuff as you can, beat the game, and then get your review out. Now, I will say that developers and publishers do need to give people time to beat the game if it's big. If it's something like a Skyrim, then you better put that into your development cycle, right? Like, hey, we got to get this out to people 3 weeks in advance. And this is just other people like, IGN, big sites like that, where you give these guys 3 weeks to play the game. And I hate to break it to everybody, when somebody gets a review code, it's not like you and me, Fonz, or somebody else that gets a review code. This is their job. Like, they can play it for 6, 7, 8 hours a day. They probably take it home. And it's like, and if they're like me, I love playing games. I think it was Age of Empires 5 days before release. I put 30 hours in it, and I have a full-time job, everybody, 40 hours a week. That is extremely, grueling on my mind, but I still put that time in because I love the hobby. Like, this is like, it's not like, oh, pay me thousands of dollars. I don't like that sentiment. Like, most people that go into this enjoy the hobby and want to do it for a living for a reason, right?
Yep.
Unless you're doing it for the wrong reasons, which is the money. That's just me. If you do anything for just money, you're going to be an unhappy individual. But the whole point is, I agree with that. They have to give ample time. So that's it. But I do not agree that if you haven't beaten it, you can't give it a score and don't review it. Like, I'm saying, you can review it, but say, no. I played X amount of hours on this. This is my thoughts. I'll give a score when I feel like I'm done. When I'm done with it, when the credits roll at least, or when I do enough side missions. Because I'm going to be real. If somebody just breakneck speed through Elden Ring to beat to just have the credits roll, they didn't beat the game to me.
No, like, I get that. I get that 100%. Although I have to add, though, that I don't agree that a score should be given if you have not completed the game. I don't care how long the game is. You don't put a score on it, because it will get thrown into that Metacritic. It does get thrown into that overall score, where then it does affect people's wallets. It not only affects the consumers' wallets, but it affects the developers.
It does.
I don't agree with that at all. Because let's be frank, flat out, some games can be amazing at first and then become horrible in the end. Or some games could be kind of awful the first couple hours and then get really freaking good.
The one game I'm going to give an example to that people forget about is Shadow of War. Shadow of War was a great game. I've played, I think, 30 hours in it, but I haven't beaten it. If you remember, at the end of Shadow War, you needed to grind an obscene amount to do like this other content in the game, or to beat the game, where reviewers were like, the game is so good, and then at the end, it just screws you over, to the point where the developer had to change the ending and change the way you finished it. That is something that's a big example of like, hey, we need to beat this game before we move forward. Right? Like you can give this game a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 9.5, that you didn't get to the ending because you're like, man, I've played this for 45, 50 hours. I'm really enjoying it. But when you get to the end, you're like, what the hell? Like, what just happened? Dying Light 2, I didn't like it I liked the beginning, the first couple hours.
Yeah.
I hated it. It got worse as it went on. And then the ending was even more worse. The ending made it even, like, it dropped it down a whole other, like, 1.5 for me.
Same thing happened with AC Odyssey for me. I loved it for 50 plus hours.
Not Odyssey, Origins.
No, Origins. Sorry, Origins.
Yeah.
Loved it for 50 plus Odyssey. You had to make sure you're not talking about the good one.
Man,
yeah,
you're not talking
yeah,
about one of the best.
Yeah,
the
one of the best.
It is.
It is. It's probably my favorite. Actually, I take that back. I do like Assassin's Creed 2 a lot. Like I have great memories with that one. But Odyssey, for the new style of Assassin's Creed, it's by far the best. Put in a lot of hours into that game. But yeah, with Origins, I didn't like the ending, so that would affect my score. So things happen as you play along. The one thing I don't really like is this whole time constraint thing. Like a lot of people are saying, well, with embargoes and stuff, you don't have much time. There's a lot of crunch within the game that you have to pull off to play before you can get that review up when the embargo lifts. Okay, I get that. But I'm sorry. To me, if you're going to put it out there and say, look, I played 100 hours of this game. I haven't beat it yet. But these are my thoughts, and I think it's amazing. I think you guys should buy it after 100 hours. That holds as much weight to me as giving it a score. Yeah. That to me holds just as much weight. You don't have to do a whole review. You could do a review in progress. You can do an impressions. There's no reason to put a score on it other than it to go into to factor into Metacritic. And then, again, it affects people's wallets. So, that is my main complaint.
Yeah, and I get that. The only thing I would say to just kind of play devil's advocate is right now when you play a game, unless something drastic changes at the end of the game, for me, like I think both of us we're about like what 20-25 hours into Elden Ring. It's wholeheartedly. I know people are going to be like, "Whoa," but to me, it's one of the best games I've played in several years. Like, to the point where I'm like, oh, this is going to consume my life. Like, I don't care about, like I have 30 achievement points in it at 25 hours and I don't care. Like, I'm just like, I don't care about achievements. I don't care about anything. I care about this game and experiencing it.
Okay. Yeah. And we're definitely going to talk about the good points and everything, but it just has to be stressed that the whole scoring things before you complete it is just not a good thing. Now here's another thing. When you look at, I'm going to put this super chat up. Pragmatic Eagle has got some great points. Thank you for the super chat, brother. He says, on reviews, just remove the score and force reviewers to justify their opinions. Otherwise, no reviewer will ever be credible again to me, aside from ACG and Skill Up. Shout out to Fonz and Zalker. Thank you, brother.
Shout out Pragmatic.
ACG is one of the guys I wanted to bring up because he wrote a review for it and said, hey, he doesn't do a score, but he does a wait for sale, or never touch it again. He did a buy initially. He changed it 3 days later after the patch came out, and he saw the performance on PC and said, nope, this ain't good enough, Chief. I'm knocking my score down to a wait for sale. That makes a lot of sense, and that lends to those people putting numbers on this. Like, in my opinion, if graphics or the mechanics, you don't like certain things about the mechanics of a game or graphics of the game, and somebody else really does, that's opinions. That's fine. Yeah. Like somebody could say, like myself, Red Dead Redemption, I could say that game's a masterpiece. Others could say I don't like the controls, and I can't argue with them.
That was me.
Yeah, I can't argue with you on that.
We get it. We get in that debate all the time about it. And that's the same thing.
But my point though, Zalker, is technically though, when you look at it technically from that aspect, if a game is broken or if a game has a lot of bugs, if their game has a lot of performance issues that hinders play, that should knock a score down. Therefore, I don't think that as much as I love Elden Ring, it shouldn't get a perfect score. It has a lot of performance issues, especially on that PC side where I've seen, Zalker, I've seen a particular reviewer who put in 80 hours into the game, didn't beat it, gave it a 10. He was playing on a 2080. He showed video footage of his gameplay that he played through. It was freezing for up to 10 seconds at a time during boss fights.
Yeah, that game right now, if you look at it, so this is the one thing I would say that is differing on PC gamers, is that PC gamers review it if it's wrong, if it's messed up. If you go look at the Steam scores on Elden Ring, it's mixed. It's in the yellow because people are like, it doesn't work. And then they're finding solutions like kill the motion blur, do this. Like it's basically turned into like, that's the thing. People are like, I don't want to tinker on the PC. Yeah, neither do PC players. They hate it. So once that happens, where they have to tinker to get the performance they have to, they're gonna destroy that game. And that's what's happening with Elden Ring. And if you're playing it on the PC, which it wasn't like not given to a lot of people on console. I feel like that was what was going on with that game, but the console ones perform better than the PC. I'm playing it on the Series X and it looks great. Like it looks awesome. And so it's like, I don't understand that. Like it can't be perfect if there's performance issues. It just can't be a perfect game. That's not possible. So that's where I agree with you. That's where I agree with you. Now, if someone, I feel like somebody needs to, if they're overwhelmed, like they love the franchises, they love From Software, they love this game, and they're just mind blown with how big it is. I get you can give it a perfect score, but then also take a step back and realize that you're speaking and kind of giving people your opinion, and they might take it serious to what Fonz is saying, where they buy it and it hurts their wallet. Like some guys like listening to this and going, wow, he gave it perfect 10. All these people gave it perfect 10s, buys it on PC or buys it on the PS5. And then he's paying the PS4 version or paying like, the PC one's all jacked up. And it's like, what's going on? How is this perfect?
Did you see the amount of people that are on Twitter, just in our small community, saying, I'm not into Souls, but I picked it up based on the reviews?
Yeah. Oh, the hype. I picked it up because of that. Yeah. I'm not a Souls person. I don't like Souls games. I haven't gotten into them. Now I'll be honest. I've been thinking about getting into them for about 6 months. And I was like, these are big, epic, like me and Fonz were talking about this, and we've been talking about this for months. We said on RDX, we kind of missed that big, epic open world fantasy game.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking about getting into Dark Souls 3 or Demon Souls, something, right? Like just to get in that fantasy, because there's nothing coming out. And then finally, Elden Ring came out, all these high scores. I looked at gameplay first. I didn't care about I didn't look at
That's what I did too.
I looked on Twitch, I looked on YouTube, I looked on everything, see how people played it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And it's one of the best decisions I've made this year by far. Like
Robert, thank you for the super chat. He says, Breath of the Wild drops to like 17 FPS and no one complains. LOL. Yeah. You know what? It's the Switch. Everything drops to like 17 frames on the Switch, unfortunately.
And people see, and then that's opinion, right? Like a couple of buddies that I know, like Hargeet loves Nintendo games. He doesn't care about like that stuff, right?
Okay,
like,
so
that doesn't affect his review.
Okay, so that's what I was trying to discuss with somebody on Go Live in the chat yesterday. I said, for me, frame rate, if the frame rates dip, I can allow that to, hey, everybody's tolerances are different there. But when the game is freezing or crashing, that's an issue that should be reflected in the score. Big time.
Yeah. Big time. Oh yeah. If there's that's
and if the frame rates do bother you, I guess you can, put that in there too.
Well, the performance and the technical issues that killed Cyberpunk, right? That was, it wasn't the stories, it wasn't this, it was the performance of it on the consoles and the performance of it on the PCs that drove it down. So, Elden Ring, no matter how much I love it personally, that should affect its score.
Yep.
And I think if it ran perfectly, we wouldn't be talking about this. We'd be talking about one of the greatest games ever made. Yeah, so that's just me.
Danny Passion Official again with the $5 says, I've been enjoying Elden Ring on the Series X, but the game performance is like a last-gen game. I think that 10 out of 10 is unfair, not fair, I think he meant to say. Yeah. Sucks that reviewers are overlooking that. Here's the thing. Let's go ahead and get into Elden Ring itself now. Done with this score talk. You've heard my opinion on it, Zalker's opinion on it. But Elden Ring itself, look, I agree with you, Danny. There is some performance hiccups, but I haven't had no real major bugs.
Neither have I.
Yeah,
Neither have I.
I mean, okay, the performance issue that I do complain about, and it's not a big issue, but it's kind of bad. Load times. The load times are horrendous. Horrendous.
I was just going to say that. The load times on the Series X specifically, and I think they said they're working on it. On the series, like for the PS5, it loads pretty fast. PC loads super fast. It's only the Series X that's loading slow. I don't know why. Like I guess they're working on it to patch it up. But again, this is what, like, for all intents and purposes, I haven't had any performance issues, just the loading screens. And on the Series X, my brother-in-law, he plays only on PC. And he has a 3080 Ti, and he was like, I want to check out Elden Ring. So he comes, he starts seeing me play it. Yeah. And just this morning, he was watching me play it. And he sat there and he's like, oh, is this running on your PC? I'm like, no, this is my Series X. He's like, dude, he's like, this looks freaking awesome. Like he was like, this looks like it runs great. And it does. Don't, it depends on what area you're in, but man, the frames do dip, but I've gotten used to it. I don't care anymore. I'm just enjoying the experience, but it would affect my score if I was reviewing it. Right?
Yep.
That would,
yeah. But right now, initial impressions, what are your thoughts of the game itself?
I mean, me and you are just loving it right now. I have to say that, like I said, this is one of the best games I've played in years, and it's quickly becoming, unless something drastic happens at the end or in the next 40 hours, 50 hours I play it, it's quickly becoming one of my favorite games I've ever played. And I know that sounds hyperbolic, but to put in perspective, I've talked to some journalists that I know that, write reviews for this. I've played this for, however many hours, and the opening area, the Limgrave area, I've done a lot of the stuff in there, but there's still stuff in there that I still need to do.
I still need to go back to catacombs and all that.
Yeah. I've done a lot of the dungeons. I've fought the open world dragon. I've done a lot of stuff, but I talked to that person. I was like, man, and then I'm in the castle now. There's a castle in the game, and the castle's massive. And I'm like, okay, this is huge. And I'm like, man, is this towards the middle of the game, end of the game? And I talked to a journalist, and he started laughing, and he was like, you are honestly only about 15% into the game. So he's like, I don't want to spoil anything for you. There's other areas that you're going to go to. He's like, it is insane how big this game is and how much content is in there. And I've seen apparently on Twitter, somebody was talking about how many bosses they killed. And somebody said that a guy on Twitch has been playing it nonstop, and he's counted already over 84 bosses.
Wow.
That he has fought.
Yeah. I'm showing some early gameplay, really early, guys, no spoiler stuff. But it's just one of the dungeons that I went through and was getting my ass handed to me by some goblins. I got way better after this, but yeah, these dungeons are creepy as hell.
Xbox Elden Ring code dropped by Hargeet in the chat, folks.
Oh, everybody pick that up. Hargeet, thank you very much.
Hargeet. Thanks, Hargeet.
That's awesome, man. Really appreciate you. But yeah, those dungeons are scary, man. I got to put that up there.
There's a lot of the thing about the dungeons is that I'm thinking when I'm getting into the dungeon, it's gonna be the same enemies, and it's not.
No,
I wanted to. It's there's so much different variety of enemies with different attack patterns where I'm learning, but it's not to the point of learning where I'm like, damn it, I keep dying. It's okay. Now I know what to do against this enemy, and then this, and then you memorize the entire dungeon, and it's just good enough to memorize where you're like, oh yeah, now I do this and this, and then you fight a boss at the end, and then you actually get good stuff. I can't believe how good this game is. I'm not joking. It's quickly becoming one of my favorite games to the point where I've had Dark Souls on PC or 3, I think, on PC forever. I've had it for free. I never played it, never installed it, just didn't care. I got it for free through a buddy. He's just like, here you go. Because he had an extra digital copy, apparently. On Steam, you can give gifts. So he just gave it to me. And I still haven't installed it, nothing. I'm to the point where I am going to probably play through all the From Software games, and then including Demon Souls. Because I want to play Elden Ring at least through with my guy, and then I want to do it again on a mage. That's how much I want to play this game. I don't care about Forbidden West. I don't care about beating my strategy games. I'm super close to beating, and I'm very close to beating them. I'm almost beating 5 games, but this game is just taking over my life.
Yeah, same, brother. It's just so funny to watch some of my earlier footage here, how bad I was. I'm not great by any means, but damn it, I got so much better than this.
This giant's wrecking you right now.
Yeah, but no, I just really, what I love about the game, that my biggest thing, Zalker, is the fact that this game is open world now. And I think that's what really lends to this game and makes it more approachable for a lot of new players. Let's face it.
Yep.
A lot of players out there, because there's times where you basically go up against something that's over. Case in point, as soon as you start off the game, you come out of that area, you look around, and and I'm showing it on the screen here. But anyway, you look around and you see a tree sentinel, one of the bosses, the first bosses you meet in the game. And he's just riding his horse, and there he is, that prick.
Just chilling.
Anyways, he's just over there, and because he was, until I beat his ass. But anyway, He was just chilling over there, and I said, oh, let me go try to fight him. As soon as I left this area, I said, let me go test him, test my skills. I got wrecked. But the great thing about the open world is, though, you go somewhere else, you fight smaller things, you get better, you come back like I did, and you whoop him. That's the kind of thing that I love about this game. Whereas other Souls games, it's more linear, and you have to follow a certain path. And if you can't get past this boss, you ain't progressing in the game.
You got to go back and farm souls.
Yeah, you have to go back. But you do that essentially here too, but you can go to different spots. There's different bosses to get to. There's mini bosses. There's dungeons.
There's different abilities, different casting abilities, different weapons you can get into. So an example of this is I just got to the castle and I got these Wolverine claws that I'm dual wielding right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got them. I've been using this thing called the twin blade that was in the moshes to the right where the dragon is. And shout out to Luca. She hooked me up. She told me, she's like, hey, are you playing? What class are you playing, by the way?
Vagabond.
Okay, so you're on Vagabond. I'm playing the warrior class, so kind of like a rogue.
Yeah.
The bandit kind of rogue. So it's high in dexterity. So I do a lot of quick hits, move around.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that these claws, like I'm literally like Wolverine claws, like this. I've been
I picked those up in the castle, in the storm, whatever castle.
Yeah. So those put bleeds on apparently. And I've been dual wielding these things, and I cannot tell you how much fun I'm having with these things. I just got them before the podcast. I was like, you know what? I got 45 minutes. I'm going to explore a little. I'm going to use these things and kind of kill stuff. And they're so fun.
You're pretending to be Wolverine, aren't you?
Dude, I am Wolverine.
You're Logan.
Like, I don't care. I'm kicking ass, dude. I'm just taking stuff out.
You said, I don't care. I'm Wolverine. Yeah.
Dude, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, the game has just engrossed me into their world. Like, and apparently from what some people have been saying, the castle that we go into, which by the way, you can get in that castle pretty early game.
Yeah.
Castle, that big
massive
castle is that big castle is apparently as big as some of like the main, like, half of Dark Souls games, just that castle alone, like almost like half of like a Dark Souls game. So like the whole game, right? Like that's just one small portion of the game and one small portion of the area that's massive and epic. I don't know how they did this. Like I'm almost like shocked that From Software got this out in what? Sekiro came out in 2019, 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell did they do that? And then if you look at last generation, they brought out Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, and now Elden Ring.
It's true.
4
You're right.
games.
Shout out to Jedi Knight Peter. He says, so glad Elden Ring is bringing more people into the other From Software games. They're all amazing. Shout out to you, brother. Thank you very much. I just want to bring this up because Pragmatic Eagle, he's one of the guys that comes to my show pretty much every week, and he's always dropping some good nuggets. And he says, I hope this gets people to stop claiming Souls games are hard, because they aren't. They just require patience. Okay, I agree with you. You're 100% right, but they're still challenging as hell, bro. That's the challenge.
Hard. They're hard. Now, I would say that...
You know what's challenging to me real quick? It's challenging for me because I'm somebody who's not very patient. I run into bosses and I'll start swinging. If I get a chance, I'll be like, I can hit him 3 times. Maybe I could push that 4th swing. And that's where From Software says, no, you can't. You can only get 3 on him at this point, and you just got to be patient. Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I would say that that extra greediness I've had to like put out my head. But then the thing I love about it is the strategy aspect. Like to get to a boss, you have to kill this room and then this room. And so like, I'll clear that room. I will learn the patterns of that room, go back, rest. So I have my flasks and then clear that room without taking any hits. So then like I can get to the boss and have all my flasks there and then have everything going for me. So I have the best possible outcome of fighting that boss. And then you memorize like the castle, you memorize everything around. Like, I can't believe how much my brain can retain at this point. I've memorized multiple dungeons. I've memorized an entire, I've gone back to them and memorized where enemies are. I can't believe how much I retained. I've never done that in a game. Like, I've done that in strategy games. I've done that in like playing chess or something where I memorize moves. Like, I try to think like 11 to 12 moves ahead. But this thing is like, I'm memorizing crazy stuff.
But that's because when you really love a game you're playing, you're always thinking about it. Like, I'll be at work tonight. I'm going back to work, unfortunately. I wish I would have taken this week off instead to play this game, because I took the week off to play Horizon last week, and let's just say I stopped playing Horizon for Elden Ring. And, there's various reasons, but number one, I'll just say it's a much better game, in my opinion. Much better game than Horizon.
It's the best game that's come out in the last several years, if not for a while. If not, like I said, all time. It's going to be one of my all-time greats. I already know it.
Yeah, Boba Fett Gaming says, thank you very much, Boba. I appreciate that. These guys are awesome, man. He says, I've never been into Souls, but I'm addicted to this game. 10 out of 10 for me. Winky face. Good stuff, Fonz and Zalker. No, he does. He loves the game right now. We've been talking about it. We all do. I mean, it really is something special. One other aspect of the game that I like is this whole horse combat thing. I'm getting used to the horse combat. Like, I was trash in the beginning, and but I've learned to time my swings better when I'm using it. Because if you hit the left side bumper, you'll swing with the left. Swing at the left or swing at the right with the right bumper. And you got your heavy attacks, your light attacks, just the same way you do in the game when you're on foot. But I just find it, you have to time everything right. And I just love that aspect. Have you tried the horse combat?
Definitely. I was going to ask you, have you fought the dragon in the moshes yet?
Not yet. Not yet. So, I saw him and he was a whole lot of nope. I just ran away, bro.
Oh, dude. The funny thing is that there's these mines right above the mosh that I went into, and everybody in there is made out of stone and fire, like lava. And so I'm a dex guy, so they only really respond or get damaged by blunt hits. Yeah. So I'm a very light attacker. I go do, and then I do a heavy attack, do, heavy attack, right? Like, so I couldn't do that. I had to use nothing but heavy attack. So I had to be really patient in there. And then the boss is this big goblin that's like a stone goblin. And it took me like 5, 7, maybe like 8, 10 tries to kill that goblin. And finally, when I killed him, I was like, hell yeah, getting out of here, got my stuff. Yep. I go outside, and then the dragon comes down, and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling myself. I fought him, and it took me about, I think, 13 tries to kill him. And I was like level 20, I think, at the time, maybe 19. And so when I killed that dragon, it was so awesome. The combat on the horse is so good. There's other guys out there, like those guys that come out at night that guard bridges, the night riders.
Yes. Oh, those guys, that guy with the halberd on the one bridge. Oh, he messes me up, bro. Every time.
Those guys too. I fought them also. I beat 2 of them now, and I used the horse a lot. So the horse combat's been really good. And just so like everybody knows, if you go south, like after you defeat the dragon, you get a thing called a dragon heart. If you go south, there's a tunnel that goes underwater. And then you can go up, and you come on this island that doesn't have any enemies, but it has these ruins with like frozen dragons on it, like death, like they're dead. And there's an altar. You take that dragon heart. So every dragon, I guess, you beat, you get their heart, and you go there and give it to the altar. You'll get a dragon spell that is freaking insane. So
wow,
that, and I just stumbled on this. I didn't look up guides. I didn't do any of that. I just did the whole ocean island thing first, and then I killed the dragon, and it was like, take it to the communal at the dragon communal. And I was like, oh, that's the thing I went to. And I fast traveled there, and then got like this claw thing, but I can't use it because I'm not a magic guy. So I just have the spell that I can't use, but I'm like, that's fine. I might play this game like 2 or 3 times with different characters.
Now, I heard that there's a certain point in the game where you can, no, you can only reset your attributes. That's right. But still, that's a cool thing.
You can reset your stats.
Oh, you can completely, huh?
Yeah, like you go to this person and I think you pay some, I forgot, but you can reset all your strength and all your stats back to normal, and then you can respec your stuff.
Yeah, I apologize, people. This is nerd talk, but you know what? That's what Elden Ring's about. We've been waiting for a fantasy open world game like this, and honestly, it really has captivated me, and it's crazy because I wasn't going to buy it. Like, I wasn't going to touch it. Like, I thought, after Sekiro kicked my butt, I was like, I'm just swearing off From Software. And then I started to, listen to some of the reviewers that I trust personally. They were saying stuff like, this is more approachable because of the open world. You can go off and do other things, get better, come back, go to the boss. And I like that. And the fact that there's a lot of those lost grace sites that you can just find and then like teleport to at any time. I love that.
Yeah, I think the fast travel is a big thing in the game. If I had to run everywhere again, it'd be kind of like, I like that I can fast travel. They give you abundance of them. And I got to give a shout out. So I actually was going to buy the game on Friday, right? Like I wasn't going to pre-order it. I was like, don't fall for that trap. You don't like these type of games. That's literally what was going in my head. I was like, you're not going to like it, man. And finally I watched a bunch of gameplay and I was going to buy it Monday morning and I had meetings at work. And then all of a sudden, I actually like shout out to Xbox. They gave me a code. I didn't ask for it. They just was like, "Hey, man, you looking to play some Elden Ring?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am."
Yeah, you're
and
right.
and I was like, "Sure." And they gave me it.
Of course.
And shout out to them, man. And I was like, "Cool." And I honestly thought like, "Oh, cool. Cool. Save money." Ooh, but I almost want to buy the game like on every platform to just support the developer.
Oh gosh, here we go. Stop it, Zalker. Yeah, now you're messy, bro. Kung Fu Hot Dog with the super chat. Thank you very much. He says, "Is Elden Ring combat better than The Witcher 3's?" Yes. I love Witcher 3. Love it. The story, of course, the story is much better because honestly, I can't tell you what's going on in Elden Ring story wise. I don't know. Zalker,
you're tarnished grabbing the rings that are basically out there, and you're going to be able to.
I get that, like the gist of that, but like there's a lot of dialogue that goes on where I'm completely lost.
I'm lost. I don't care because I like being lost in the world. To me, the story is what I'm making of it. Like those are my favorite games.
You know, I that's a good description because for me, it's like it reminds me of back in the day. I don't know if you had these books when you were growing up, but the Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It basically kind of reminds me of that, where I could choose my own adventure, do what I want.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this.
Yeah. That's the best part about these games is you can just choose anything you want to do. Like you can go do whatever you want to do, be whoever you want to be. And the classes. So just so people know, the classes in the beginning matter more, but towards the end game, you can kind of adjust to anything you want. Right? Like you can, like if you like obviously starting off as a magic user is better because you're gonna have way more stats, but you can kind of move around and make a mix. So like if you want to be like a warrior that uses magic, you can do that. You just got to level up enough to do that and then put stats accordingly. Like that like that's what I love about it.
Oh yeah. No, Danny Passion official. Brother, if anyone is struggling to level up, he says, at the beginning, there's a nice spot I found where I level up like 30 levels without having to fight. You know what? Stop cheating or stop doing that, Danny. No,
so many people are doing that, man.
I know a lot of people do that. I personally, I like to explore and find things like on my own because that is the appeal, part of the appeal anyway, is like, what's around the next corner? I walked into this freaking one land, like, because it's gigantic, this map, right? So I walk into this one place. I had no idea what's there because I haven't uncovered the map. There was freaking sorcerers over there just shooting stuff at me. And I'm like, nope, I'm out of here. I'm not supposed to be here yet. So yeah.
And the one thing that the game brings that I think added such a great element to these games is the sneaking.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kneel down, sneak, and as a person that's a rogue build, dexterity, high crit, I'm like, all right. And then I backstab someone, instant kill. And then then if I don't instant kill them, I know I'm in trouble. But like a lot of these guys are starting to become where I can't instant kill them with one backstab. So then I can just combo them really quickly with my claws. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think I'm telling you, man, I'm worried about every game that's coming out because I don't want to play anything else but this. The only thing I'm hoping is that I can finish it before like Tiny Tina's Adventure comes out because I want to play that.
No, bro.
I'm going to play it, dude.
You're going to play it. That's fine. You can play it, but just, wait for that. Just put that on the back burner because you're going to be putting like 150 hours into this game.
I really am. Dude. I told my fiance, I was like, hey, listen, you've been with me for a little while now, but you have not experienced me when a game like this happens.
You're like, right? I love you, but I love this game more right now.
I mean, I love you, but like right now, your love needs to be shared over here.
Yeah,
like I need to take some of that over here, and that's the thing. Like the last game that got me like this was, there's a couple games out there that I played like crazy, but like Assassin's Creed Odyssey was one of them. whatchamacallit, Sea of Thieves was one that I still play a bunch of. And that when it first came out, I played for like 2 months straight, like literally nothing else.
Nice.
So now this game it's going to be that.
Yeah, for me as well. I I have surgery next week, and then I'll be off of work for like 4 weeks. So I'll have like 4 weeks of this game. And let me tell you, I'm not going to stop playing this game until it's beat. Like I love it, man. It's a fantastic ride so far. We're at the end of the show. We've actually gone over. But real quick though, Zalker, we love this game so much. We've been professing that, the last, 20 minutes. Let everybody know exactly what would you say is your one favorite thing about it that is kind of different from the other Souls game, or any game for that matter?
It has one of the most in-depth, amazing open worlds with exploration and that mystery attached to it that I have not seen in a game in so long. Witcher 3 had that, where you'd go somewhere and it had like different quests and stuff that was more structured quest-wise, and it gave you waypoints. This does not give you waypoints, people. This gives you things in the world. If you look at these like witch gargoyle things that are hunched over with their hands out like this, they're like that. If you go up to them and interact with them, they'll point a little like wave thing to a dungeon. It'll direct you to a dungeon.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Exactly. So you'll see them around the world. And I first was like crouching towards them. I'm like, what is this thing? Is it going to kill me? But it was just a stone thing that pointed me to what's going to kill me. So like this world, and then not to mention, like I was running on my mount going around, and then all of a sudden the ground started shaking and this giant just rises up. Like it was sleeping apparently, and I woke it up and I was like, nope, ran away. The dragon swoops in, the destructible environment while you're fighting the dragon blew me away. I'm saying right now that it's the world and the way you want to play it. It lets you tackle any situation any way you want. You could go in there guns blazing and die, or you could sneak around, take people out. You can use spells. You can use your like those little wolves that you can summon. There's other things you can find. The world is so expansive. I can't explain how. Usually when a big game comes out like this is what they say about Ubisoft games, which I love. They're massive, but they're shallow. This game is massive, but more in depth than any other open world I've ever played in my life. And I can't explain how every single, even not bosses, just people in general have different move sets, different abilities that I haven't seen. And every single person is different. I remember Valhalla said, when you're 40 hours in, we want you to run into an enemy that you've never experienced before, and it makes you switch the way you play. Valhalla didn't do that. Sorry, you just didn't. This game did that. I'm 25 hours in, and I'm still running into new enemies with new abilities, and then not even mentioning the mini bosses, the main bosses, and then like the epic bosses.
You know what? That's funny. I asked you to name one thing, and you named like 30. But I love it. That just means that you're passionate about this game, and as am I. But if I had to pick the one thing over all this stuff, because I agree 100% with you, the one thing for me is just the variety of creatures and stuff that you come across.
Oh yeah,
that keeps the game fresh, because they have their own fighting styles. Everybody's different. Like it's so cool. That's what I love about it. And they look
different too. That's it. Yeah. They don't think they just like, oh, different enemy, but you can tell they use the same animate. No. Matter of fact, we talked about it earlier. There, in the castle, you fight those knights that look similar, look the same, but they have different move sets and different weapons. Yeah, and then different abilities. Like they throw like gusts of wind that like rip you apart. And then this other one would throw like some other claws at you. And you're like, wait, what? I thought you were like this guy. But you realize, he's different. Like these are different people. You think that's going to be the same. They're going to recycle stuff. They never do. It's the weirdest thing. Basically, it's like, how did they make this?
Basically, what Zalker's saying is that we give it a 10 out of 10. We reviewed the game. We didn't beat it. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's a great game. We both endorse it. If you guys are on the fence about this game, you love open worlds, you love fantasy games, you love exploration, I'd say get it. Get it.
Yep.
Anyways, before we go, Danny, Passion Official says, is not cheating. It's not cheating. I made a crew of soldiers to fight some weird cats, dinosaurs, when they were trying to kill me. I got on a hill and they fight for me. Oh yeah. Yeah. Those That's not cheating at all. You're using your what are they called? Not ashes.
How did you
of
get
war.
those guys? I want to find out where you get those.
I
guys.
have the noblemen. I don't have the warriors. I don't have the warriors. Somebody has the warriors, but I have the noblemen. There's like 6 of them. I don't know where I found that, but it was pretty cool. Hargeet Shunny says, thank you very much, Hargeet. And I changed the name there. You could see your name's fixed now. It says, good luck with your surgery, bro. Hope you have a fast recovery. Thank you very much. It should be pretty quick. Again, it'll just be nice to be at home, rest, and play some video games.
Hell yeah.
Dealer Gaming, $20 super chat. Thank you very much, Dealer. You didn't have to do that. He says, Elden Ring is a good game, but the world and quests are nowhere. Oh, I didn't know I could resize that easy. That's awesome.
I saw you do it. You're like, ooh.
Yeah. Are nowhere close to Witcher or Odyssey. However, Elden Ring does do big epic bosses better, or where the others don't. Y'all like turtles. Yes, I like turtles.
We love turtles.
No, I think the open world factor, I think there's better detail and just overall presentation in many other games. AC Odyssey, Red Dead Redemption 2, Witcher 3. But when it comes to just that creep factor, not knowing what's around the corner, what's around the tree, what's behind that castle, what's in that dungeon, that's scary to me. That's like, that lends to the whole game. Like, that's what I like about it,
Yeah. You never know what you're going to get, and when you're going to get trapped, or when you're going to run into something you've never seen before, like a damn dragon flying and killing 10 things around you. Like, the world's amazing. Fantasy world to the max.
All right. Now we're at the end of the show. So Zalker, let everybody know where they can find you, what you've been doing out there and on your channel, and when your next video is.
I think my next video will probably be tomorrow. You guys can find me on Zalker87 on YouTube and at Zalker87 on Twitter. Been playing nothing but Elden Ring. I have all these other games I'm really close to just beating, like strategy games. But again, I put them down because I'm playing Elden Ring all day, every day. I'm having a lot of fun. I was up late last night playing it again. I love beating it, and it's a great, and honestly, it's one of those things where I feel like the story would have hindered it because we played in a party and we don't have to sit there and pay attention to it.
That's true. We didn't.
So I'm really enjoying that aspect of it where we are like, oh, I'm at this thing. Did you see this? Or like, what class are you? There's a battle hammer over here. So that's where I love it. It is a great party game. So yeah, thanks guys. Talk about a lot about Xbox and gaming news, even PlayStation news. Fonz, I appreciate you having. I had a lot of fun, man. This was great.
No, I knew it would be. I knew it would be fun. It's always a great time here with guests that come on. Zalker, thank you very much. No different with you. And I think the chat, of course, thank you for being here with me, and those of you listening after the fact on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you stream your podcasts, if that's what you'd like to do. Thank you for listening. Until next time, guys, game on.
Right, everybody.